Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Theory, the #1 MMA DFS prep show in all of the land. I'm your host, Monk, aka the Monkmatician. This very episode, guys, we have the UFC Vegas 68 card with 12 fights on it. This was supposed to be UFC Korea, but it is, let's see, Korean Zombie fell off the card, so now it is headlined, right? Probably always was headlined, I don't know, by Derrick Lewis and Serghei Spivak, and it's taking place at the Apex Center now, not South Korea. So it starts at 10 p.m. Central Time. Main card starts at like 1 a.m. Central Time, so it's perfect for me, for Nosferatu up here, and all of the people across the pond always get screwed into staying up late to watch these cards. So we all love it. Hopefully you can too. Let's get right in the 12 fights we have on UFC Vegas 68. First fight of the night, guys. A prospect I'm very excited in, Tatsuro Taira, going against Jesus Aguilar. Taira just turned 23 years old a couple of days ago on the 27th, so happy birthday to him. Wow, he was born in the 2000. Yeah, that's depressing for us old heads like me. So wow, interesting. Tatsuro Taira is 12-0, 2-0 in the UFC, 9,600. He has made the optimal lineup in 2 out of his past 2 fights, guys. In all of his UFC fights so far, both of them making the optimal lineup, 4.26 points a minute, 101.84 per win. He's gone up against Carlos Candelario, scored 96, and he went up against CJ Vergara, subbed him in the second round, scored 106.97. I am a huge fan of Tatsuro Taira. Looking forward to seeing him fight this week. Excuse me. I may or may not have just done something to make me cough profusely right before I started recording, so I have the best timing. So excuse me for that. I am looking at Tatsuro Taira to get the easy win here. Maybe not easy, but a definitive win here. 9,600 is very expensive. It used to be the most expensive salary. Now it is the second most expensive salary. I just don't feel comfortable rostering him in a ton of lineups. You need, the average value for your optimal fighter is 13.34. So you want 13.34x of your salary. That would be 128 for Tatsuro Taira. Is he going to score one? Is he going to come out here and Jailton Almeida this guy? Is he going to come out here and Sergey Pavlovich this guy and put up 130 points? I sincerely doubt it. I'm a huge fan of Taira. I want to see him make the optimal lineup again. 9,600, there's going to have to be some low scores for that to happen, and pretty much no upsets. So he'd have to, he'd have to score higher than most anyone on the card and have barely any upsets. So I like Taira for the win. I'm probably going to be under on him. I assume his ownership's going to be about 40 some percent. I'll probably be a bit under on him, unfortunately. I just don't see him scoring 130 points to make the optimal line. As far as Aguilar, who we haven't even talked about, 8-1 as a pro, 1-0 in his DWCS fight. It looks like 3.71 points a minute. Only would have scored 90 in that fight. Did land over 2 points a minute in takedowns and control time, which I would be concerned for if he tries that against Taira. Taira could just sub him. Strength of schedule is about 5 points worse for Aguilar than it is Taira, as he beat Arison Fajeda in DWCS third round submission. So I would be picking Taira here. I just don't see Aguilar getting it done. And I'm not going to pay, I'm probably not going to have Aguilar in any more than 5-10% of my life. Let's keep it moving. Next fight, the Iron Turtle. Who doesn't love Jung Park, the Iron Turtle, going against Dennis Tiuliulin. Tiuliulin, I absolutely love this fight. It's the second fight of the night as of now. We are highlighting some of these, what's the name of the tournament that happened? Road to the UFC fighters. 8,500 for Jung Park, 77 for Tiuliulin. I'm favoring for DFS the dog here. This is one dog I am on this week for DFS, 7,700. One of the best salaries you can possibly play according to Salary Voodoo. Tiuliulin scores 4.08 points a minute. This is over 16, almost 17 minutes in the UFC. 123 per win. 123 is what he put up against, can't remember, Jamie Pickett. So it's not great. Jamie Pickett sucks, but Tiuliulin looked not terrible, but not great against Kizraev, who subbed him in the second round, 7th minute there. I like Tiuliulin's scoring upside. I know it's a very small sample size, and what he did to Jamie Pickett, obviously Iron Turtle is far better, levels above Jamie Pickett, as most people in the UFC are. But still, I liked a couple of things I saw from Tiuliulin. He's going to have the size advantage here. Jung Park, we have seen him get finished before by RoboCop, almost finished RoboCop, and then ended up losing that fight. because RoboCop is such a tough son of a bitch. 4.05 points per minute for Park, 96 per win. Not really something I'm looking for. 96 points per win in his last 5. He is 4-1 in his last 5. His career he averages a bit less than that, 95. 95 per win. So he's a little bit better than that. 96 points per win in his last 5. Let's see the salary win rate. $8,500 wins when it fights 77 has a win rate of just 47.5%, while the 7,700 salary has a 51 win percentage. So we do love to see that. Park does have takedown and control time upside. Tiuliulin can be taken down and controlled, so that is one thing I would be worried about. I think here's how you play this. Tiuliulin I love for the DraftKings upside. I will have more Tiuliulin than Park. I love it for the salary voodoo, and I love it for the possible finishing equity here upside that we get from Tiuliulin. The longer this fight goes, the more I'll be sweating it. If I'm on the Tiuliulin side, I think Park can win a decision or a late finish. I think Tiuliulin gets an early finish, so therefore I will have more Tiuliulin. Park might score, 85, 90 points in a win, even in a finish, if it happens in the 3rd round. So let's see, is that even... He subbed Joseph Holmes in the second, 101 points. At 8,500, that might be good enough to make optimal, especially this week. Some, subpar, for the most part, UFC fighters, we think. But this also could be a very high variance card, and tons of people could score over 100. So I'll be favoring Tiuliulin, but I will have Park as well. Here's one that everyone's clamoring for me to talk. Dude, talk about Jung Kim. Talk about Mandy Bohm, please. That's all we want to hear about. All right, guys, just chill. Here we go. This is your time. That said, we'll spend about 6 seconds on this one. Jung Kim against Mandy Bohm. Mandy Bohm is terrible, 0-2 in the UFC, undefeated before she came in, but she's just fighting, German bums, it seems like. She lost to Victoria Leonardo, lost to Ariane Lipski. 1.5 points per minute is what she's scoring. Not interested. She allows 3.87 and 88 per win. So there's nothing I like about Mandy Bohm here. As my colleague Brady says, man, she might be one of the biggest bums. Mandy Bohm might be one of the biggest bums on the. She's going up against Jung Kim, who somehow is almost a minus 300 favorite in this one. I can't believe it. But that said, Bohm is terrible. Kim is not great, but I don't know if she's like terrible. Like tier 6 and tier 7 maybe is kind of what we're looking at here. But there's no reason Kim should be minus 300 or $9,000, guys. She's 900 over her average salary. Scores 3.32 points a minute, 112 when she wins in her last 5, but only one win. She's 1-4 in her last 5. She beat Nadia Kassem, KO'd her in the 2nd round, scored 112. Other than that, she's not doing anything for DraftKings in her career per win. Her 3 wins, she's averaging 80, and one of those is 112. So if you know how averages work, it's in the middle. 112's up here, 80's here. That means she would have had to score like 60 or 50 in one of these fights. Just absolutely terrible. I'm not interested in playing this one at all. Although we do have the strength of schedule for Bohm is terrible, guys. You want these numbers to be in the 70s. She's sub 60 across the board, while Kim actually has a decent strength of schedule. I'm picking Kim to win. We could see an early finish here. That's the only issue. You can't just not play this fight because we could see an early finish. So this is a terrible fight, super high variance, low level women's MMA. Give me Kim. I'm going to have to play a little bit of this fight because I don't want to be on the outside looking in. She KOs Mandy Bohm in the first minute. Like, was it Putilova or who was that? No, it was, God, I can't think of it now. It could just happen. It could just happen. The thing that made me cough right before this is also making me forget what I'm trying to talk about. I'm picking Jung Kim probably by decision, but I don't want to miss out in case it's the optimal lineup. Good God, what a shit fight. Hyun Sung Park going against Sung Guk Choi. This is the first fight of the finalists for the road to the UFC. So I think we've got flyweights here. I don't know much about these guys. We'll just quickly go over stats for a lot of these road to the UFC guys here, and you can make your decision. This is a very closely lined fight. 8,400 for Park, 7,800 for Choi. Choi in his 2 fights on the road to the UFC, 2.92 points a minute and 73 when he won. Not very interested there. 1.48 points a minute is all he allows. Meanwhile, Park scoring 3.74. 103 is what he averages per win. His 2 wins on the road to the UFC, but he does give up 3.47 points per minute. I like this fight for the probably for the favorite, I guess. I'm thinking Park. He's averaging, let's see, 1.75 points per minute in takedowns and control time, while Choi is averaging 1.12. So decent amounts there. Let's see their strength of schedules. Both very bad, right around 60 or sub 60. This is going to be a terrible. Both very, very poor strength of schedules. Here's my projections. DraftKings visual statistical recap. Here are the aggregate pro and UFC finishing percentages. You can take a look at all that. Pause it if you feel like. I don't have the energy to go into a ton of these fights because honestly, I don't know a lot about these guys. Got to do your fight tape, pair it with this, pair it with these stats, and you'll know what to do. I still have to do my fight tape on a couple of these fights. So, this being one of them. I like Park here, but I really have no reason why other for DraftKings. This is why I like doing it for DraftKings. I would not bet any of these fights, but for DraftKings, I like the upside of Park. 103 points per win compared to 73 points per win. I mean, not even in the same ballpark. So give me Park here. We're not even in the same Hyun-Sung Park. So give me Hyun-Sung Park here. And yeah, just for a lot of these road to the UFC guys, I'm probably going to be about 15 to 25% ownership, depending on who I think is going to win. I'm going to keep it pretty standard for the most part. I'm not going to go crazy with any one of these guys just because it seems a bad idea. This one might be a different story. Rinya Nakamura going against Toshiomi Kazama. Nakamura supposedly is like the real deal. 9,300 apparently sounds worth it. For 2 UFC, does he have 2 fights? Yeah, average fight time 2.88 minutes. 9.26 points per minute is what he's scoring in the road to the UFC. 116.62. Let's see these averages. He put up almost 120 against Shohei Nose, and Guzman, he put up 113.54 in a first round sub. I'm loving what I see from Rinya here. He's doing 2.5 points per minute in takedowns and control time. Kazama allowing well over half a point a minute in those categories. The $9,300 salary has a win rate of 71%. Love to see that. Rinya also giving up, allowing just 1.33 points per minute. Kazama on the other side, there's not much DraftKings upside to like here. 3.38 points a minute's pretty good, but 80 per win, not something I'm interested in. He only has one fight on the road to the UFC tournament. Where he allowed just 1.45 points per minute. I think Nakamura is probably a few levels above. Even the strength of schedule is a few levels above Kazama here. Here's my projections. Very, very high for Nakamura, as you would expect. And then the finishing percentages. I like Nakamura here. There's not a bunch to like. I mean, you take out Jun Kim, you have a $9,100 fighter, $9,300 fighter, and a $9,600 fighter. So there's not a lot to love the high range salaries. So I'm going to be, forcing ownership pretty evenly across Taira, Nakamura, and someone we have yet to talk about. I really like Nakamura here. I'm picking him to win. I'm picking him to roll over Kazama, and I do like him for DraftKings as well. Next fight, Jia Yi going against Zhenyang Li. And this one's 7,300 for Yi and 8,900 for Zhenyang Li, the Korean Tiger. That is a lot of money to pay, but look at this DraftKings upside, guys. He has 2 fights on the road to the UFC, in which he's put up 13.12 points per minute, 123.5 points per win. He has 2 fights. Total fight time in the cage is 1 minute. Almost said 1 minute 30 seconds. That would be too long. 1.3 minutes. Average fight time is 0.65 minutes. Guys, this is ridiculous. He smashed someone named Lukai in first minute, and he smashed someone named Jibin in the first minute. A sub and a KO. I love what I see from Lee here. His projections are off the charts. Finish rate is 75. Both these guys' finishing rates and wins is 75%. Love to see that. Jia Yi should not be overlooked. His road to the UFC fights, 2 of them, 17 minutes total. He's averaging almost 5 minutes of 5 points per minute. Sorry, 102.47 points per win, guys. Now he does allow 4.22 points a minute, but he is averaging well over 3 points per minute in takedowns and control time. While Zhenyang Li has given up takedowns and control time in his very short cage time. I like Lee here probably. I like his draft. I like both guys' DraftKings upside. According to the stats, this is a must-play fight. So maybe you could find a little bit of leverage in Yi, as a lot of people don't know who these guys are. They see the low salary and they're like, oh, this guy sucks. He's not how low of a salary he is. Look at his odds, and that's all they look at. So maybe you might be able to find some leverage here with Yi. I will be playing him, and I will be playing Jung Lee as well at 8,900. There's a guy right below him at 8,800 who I'll probably have much more of, but who we'll get to at the end of the video. But I do like Jung Lee as well. Give me both of these guys. 8,900 is a bit much, but I'll give it a shot. Next fight, another dog spot that I really like. Anshul Jubli going against Jeka Saragih. Hope I'm saying it remotely closely to correct. 8,000 for Jeka. Love this spot. 4.63 a minute, 102 per win, giving up just 1 point per minute. Meanwhile, Jubli, 3.29 points a minute, 79 per win is all he scores. Is one road to the UFC fight. Gave up 4 points per minute, 4.16 points per minute in that fight. I like the stats from Saragih a lot more. I like his upside a lot more, at least on paper. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. He put up 106 against M.O.N.K, and he put up 90, almost 99 against M.O.N.K. Here are my projections. Finish rates, blah, blah, blah. Not much here, guys. I mean, like I said, these ones we're just going to blaze through because I don't know anything about these guys. You have to do your tape on this one. You have to pair it with these stats to really get a feel for what's going on. I like Saragih here. I like his upside. I like his cheaper salary. $8,000 is going to be very easy to get to. And you're going to need guys like this week when you're out here playing Taira, when you're out here playing Rinya Nakamura. When you're out here playing expensive guys like that, you're going to need people to balance out because there's not a lot at the bottom. There is not a lot at the bottom this week. So, I mean, we just talked about someone that was 7,300 that I think has a chance to win. But other than that, there is not much to like down there. Give me Saragih here, and that is going to be that. I don't know anything about these guys. Like I said, you got to do your tape. Next fight, the guy that I'm going to have to play that I'm not looking forward to. Adam Fugitt. Yes, guys, make all your Fugitt. Oh, Fugitt. Oh, what'd you say, Fugitt? Oh. Make all those jokes now. I can't. Every time this guy fights, Twitter just evolves into a mush of Fugitt jokes. Yusaku going against Yusaku Kinoshita. Kinoshita is 9,100. Fugitt 7,100. I like Kinoshita for the win here. But I think it's closer than the line would indicate. I mean, Kinoshita in his he has Dana White Contender Series. What are we looking at here? Must have been 3.31 points per minute, 80.5 points per win, allowed just 1.38 points per minute back at him. Meanwhile, Fugitt 3.15 points per win. Did lose to Michael Morales, who I really do like as a younger prospect. He gave up 5 points a minute, almost 100 points in that Morales fight. But there is a little bit of upside here for Fugitt. If he can get his wrestling game going, I think this one's going to be a lot closer than the line would indicate. He's probably going to get deaded, early. It would be my opinion, but I am going to pick. I think I'm going to pick Kinoshita, but I'm going to play this a bit different. I'm going to have a ton of Fugitt, most likely, like more than I'm comfortable with, because again, there's not a lot of people down here at these low ranges. I don't think Rinya's going to lose. I don't think Taira's going to lose. Might be the cheapest guy I can actually get to a little bit of, and at 7,100, I think there is some upside here. He has fought UFC level competition, whereas Yusaku has not. Let's see these strength of schedules. I mean, Fugitt's strength of schedule is 10, 12, 15 points better than Kinoshita in a couple of these categories. So give me Kinoshita for the win, but I like the upside of Fugitt as a chance to, break the slate, as they say. I don't think Yusaku is a guarantee. So give me a ton of Fugitt probably, and a ton at 7,100 is like 25, 30, 35%, something like that. I just hate a lot of these lower end guys for DraftKings, and this is one that I think could have an upset written on. Give me Kinoshita, but play here is probably Fugitt. I'll have a good deal of Kinoshita as well. I guess I'll have a good chunk of this fight. Man, that is a scary proposition to put a bunch of stock in Adam Fugitt. Next fight, guys, Kyle Nelson. 1-4 in his last 5. Kyle Nelson Going against the return of the Korean Superboy, Doo Choi, coming off of his mandatory military service over in South Korea. He is back, baby. Hasn't fought in over 3 years, just over 3 years. $8,600. He is the favorite over Kyle Nelson. And can you blame the bookmakers here? You're putting a guy who hasn't fought in 3 years, favored over Kyle Nelson. At first, you might be like, wait, one of these guys has been fighting and the other is not fought for 3 years. Guys, it's Kyle Nelson. He scores 2 points a minute. Okay, 96 per win, which is okay, but that's only in his one win against Marco Polo Reyes. Guys, you don't know who that is? That's fine. You don't have to know. Just know he's not in the UFC anymore. Good. His name's Marco Polo. Marco, we're looking for your game. Polo, where you at? Yeah, we don't know. 7,600 for Nelson. He gives up 4 points a minute, 93 per loss. That's not a ton, but I am interested to see in what the Korean Superboy can do. Before he left, he was averaging 3.2 points a minute, 105 per win. He was giving up almost 4.5 points a minute and 104.82. 3-fight losing streak to Cub Swanson, Jeremy Stevens, Charles Jourdain. So not great, but he is going against Kyle Nelson, guys. He's got this like pretty much a gimme fight. Oh, it would appear to be a gimme fight in his welcome back fight here. The $8,600 salary has a win rate of 66%. Love to see that. I'm gonna pick Choi here. I don't think Nelson is gonna offer a ton of DraftKings upside. His ceiling is very low. What does he average in? That's the same number. So his ceiling is just what he scored in his one win, because I need at least 2 wins to really calculate a ceiling properly, standard deviation. So 96 is not something I'm too. I guess at 7,600 I would be very interested in 96 points, but I mean, maybe Choi has the layoff has done him bad. So I will have some of Kyle Nelson because I think he's going to be very low owned. I think Korean Superboy is going to be pretty high owned. So I might be able to get a little bit of leverage with Nelson, even playing him at like 80%. He might be sub 20% here. Who knows? I'll probably have him sub 20% when I do my, maybe right around the 20% mark. But I like Choi too, his upside, hoping he can get this one done. But who knows what this guy's going to look like after 3 years off. It's not like he's been doing nothing for 3 years. It's not like he had to go find himself. Guy was in active military duty, so I'm sure he stayed in shape. And I'm sure he continues to be in shape coming into this fight. So I'm not really looking for him to shit the bed on his return. And I think he can get it done here against Kyle Nelson. Next fight, guys. Marcin Tybura going against Blagoy Ivanov. I am staying the hell away from this fight, to be completely honest. I'll be targeting the heavyweight main event instead of this one. 7,900 for Ivanov. Let me just go over the numbers on why you cannot roster Blagoy Ivanov in any tournament formats. I mean, maybe cash, but dude, there's got to be some better options. 2.5 points a minute, 69 points per win in his last 5 fights, in which he has 3 wins, allowing just 2 points a minute. 59 points is all his opponents score when they beat him. I mean, we're looking at a total of like 120 points total. Actually, less than that. 118.63 total between Blagoy and his opponents on average. 5. He's 200 under his average salary, but guys, there's nothing. I mean, this is such low output, a low output heavyweight event here. He did get a win over Marcos Rogerio de Lima, which, whatever. He scored 64 points. He beat Tai Tuivasa back in 2019, in which he scored 85. That's just incredible. 85. But before that, he scored 59 against Ben Rothwell. I'm just not. There's nothing here that makes me want to play Blagoy Ivanov. Where's his strength of schedule? Right in the 70s. So him and Tybura is about the same. Tybura is coming off a good win against Romanov, in which he just tired him out, and then not finished him, but got the majority decision there. Lost to Volkov, beat Walt Harris, beat Greg Hardy, beat Ben Rothwell. So both guys beat Ben Rothwell. Greg Hardy win, throw it out because Greg Hardy's terrible. Walt Harris win. I'm not going to say he's terrible, and he is training again, I heard, which I'm looking forward to. Record's 13-10, guys. He's a killer be killed fighter. Volkov is probably the best win out of his last 5, or the best fight rather out of his last 5. He did lose that one unanimous decision. Was a little close, but not too close. I like I don't even know who I want to pick for this fight. Tybura scoring 2.9 points a minute, 90 per win in his last 5. That's not going to get it done for an $8,300 salary. I need more than 90 points. Blagoy's giving up 2 points a minute and 59 per loss. Neither guy's going to get finished here. I'd be highly surprised if either guy got finished, as neither one's been finished in their last 5. Tybura has been finished 3 times in the UFC, but like I said, none of them coming in the last 5 fights here. I think this one goes to decision. I think the winner scores like 70 points, and I think this is not a good fight. So I will be way under the field. This one, even if Blagoy comes in at like 15%, I'll be at like 5%. I might not even roster Blagoy in 20 max. Co-main event, or rather penultimate fight of the night, Jung going against Devin Clark. I mean, how could you be on Clark here? I mean, he scores 3 points a minute, 96 per win. It's okay numbers for 7,500. That's decent, but he gives up 3.7 and 107 per loss in his last 5. He is 200 under his average salary. His average value per win is fantastic, 12.5. That's because he's always coming in at a low salary, and if he wins, he's going to score a decent amount. He's giving up over 1.6 points per minute in takedowns and control time. Meanwhile, Jung, 4.11 points a minute, fantastic offensive pace. 106, almost 107 is what he's scoring per win. He's allowing just 1.52 points per minute defensively, but when he did lose, he gave up 105.6. He is 320 over average salary, scoring 1.77 points a minute in takedowns and control time, which is pretty much what Devin Clark gives up. And Jung's going to have a 4-inch height advantage if you're to believe the UFC stats. 3-inch reach advantage. He did just get finished in the first round by Dustin Jacoby. All over I was all over Jung in that last one. But Jacoby finished him in the first round. Before that, Jung beats Nchukwu by knockout, beats William Knight by decision, draws against Sam Alvey, which yikes, and knocks out Mike Rodriguez in just over a minute. Meanwhile, Clark has lost to Mirzakhanov, Kutalaba, and Anthony Smith in his last 5. Both guys beating William Knight, and Clark actually does have a unanimous decision win over Alonzo Menafield. Here are my projections. I like Jung here over Devin Clark. I don't see how you could be behind Devin Clark pretty much ever. It seems like a crapshoot if he's going to win or not. Give me Jung however he wants. I'm hoping we get a finish here. 8,700 is a fantastic salary to play. Has a win rate of almost 75%. Absolutely love Jung here. I don't trust Devin Clark. I don't think he's anywhere near the level of Dustin Jacoby. So I think Jung can get it done here. Watch your fight tape on this one, though. Clark can be interesting to fight just because he has such an odd little style. But if I see a guy like Jung getting it done here, probably inside the distance. If it does go to decision, he might still score okay at 4 points a minute if he can keep that up for 15 minutes. But I like Jung here for the win, hoping he can get it done inside the distance, and I will be rostering him, especially in my 20 maxes that I do love to play. I'll have a bit of Devin Clark at 7,500, but not a ton. I assume his ownership's going to be around 20%. I will likely come in under that, guys. We did it. Heavyweight main event of the evening. Stick around right after this, guys. We will go over M.O.N.K picks and my personal picks as well, and also M.O.N.K play of the week, the most owned no nonsense play of the week. Also get into that right after this. Derrick Lewis, Serghei, Spivak, guys. I'll probably be close to 100% of this. Now, we've broken it down once before a few weeks ago. Lewis never made it to the octagon because of his tum-tum issues. 1.93 points per minute is all Lewis scores in his last 5. 94 per win, in which he's 2-3 in his last 5. He gives up 3.2. He is 260 under his average salary. While Serghei Spivak, the scoring machine. Nosferatu here is 4-1 in his last 5, averaging 5.17 points per minute, guys. 5.17 points a minute and 114 when he wins. In his career, 4.31 points a minute, still best on the card. 113 per win, best on the card. In his last 5, he's only improved numbers. He's only allowing 2 points a minute. He did give up 106.5 when he did lose to Tom Aspinall, but Tom Aspinall is Tom Aspinall. I think Derrick Lewis is a bit past his prime. And if he starts getting beaten up, he kind of just gives up. Um, Always the nuclear option that Derrick Lewis has. He can land it on you at any time. But I like what I see out of Serghei Spivak here. I'm picking him to win. I'm probably picking him to finish the fight. He's going to be, well, I'm not going to say that yet. You'll find out in a minute. But I absolutely love the DraftKings upside for Spivak. It's the highest on the card, in my opinion. 75%. So let's see. 3 of his last 4 wins, he has gone over 110 points, guys. 3 of his last 4. Scores 2.6 points per minute in takedowns and control time. Wrestling is going to be levels and levels above Derrick Lewis. He might have some of the best wrestling at heavyweight, to be completely honest. I love Serghei Spivak here. I think he can get this one done inside the distance. I think the schedule is a bit worse than Derrick Lewis, but I mean, Derrick Lewis has been fighting like Blades, Gon, Tuivasa, and Pavlovich. Tons of killers on that list. While Spivak has been fighting Vandera, Olenek, Hardy, and Sakai. Did fight Aspinall, but the other 4 names, maybe not Sakai. Hardy, Olenek, and Vandera, though. I love Olenek, but he's like 55 years old. Hardy is Greg Hardy, and Jared Vandera is yikes. That said, I love Serghei Spivak here. I think he can get it done. Also, Spivak has made optimal lineup in 3 out of his past 5 fights, guys. He has a 60% optimal rating, which is better than a ton of these guys. At heavyweight, I love this fight. I think he has a good chance of making it 4 out of 6 optimal. And at 8,800, he is 200 over his average salary, but it's not breaking the bank. I'm also going to have a bit of Derrick Lewis in there as well for the reasons that I don't even need to go into. But I think Spivak gets it done here over Derrick Lewis and looks good doing it. So I will be rostering the shit out of Serghei Spivak. Guys, that is going to do it. We went through all 12 fights in just about half an hour. Before we get out of here, hit the like, hit the sub. Here are M.O.N.K's picks for UFC Vegas 68. We've got Tatsuro Taira by finish. We've got Jun Park by finish. Interesting. I'm on the other side of that one. We've got Ji Kim by decision. We've got Hyun-Sung Park by decision. We've got Rinya Nakamura by decision. We've got Jang Lee by decision. We've got Jaka Saragih, and the only upset M.O.N.K pick is picking, or M.O.N.K is picking. I don't know. Can't speak. Jeka by finish. Saku Kinoshita by finish over Adam Fugitt. Ho Choi by finish. Korean Superboy getting it done. Marcin Tybura by decision. Like that. Jung by finish. Love that. And Serghei Spivak by finish. Those are M.O.N.K's picks for UFC Vegas 68. My personal picks for UFC Vegas 68 are as follows. Tatsuro Taira. Dennis Tiuliulin. I love Tiuliulin over Park for the dog pick. Ji Kim. Hyun-Sung Park. Rinya Nakamura. Jun Lee. Jeka Saragih, what is it? Yusaku Kinoshita, rather. Ho Choi, Korean Superboy. I'm picking Marcin Tybura. I'm picking Jung, and I'm picking Serghei Spivak. Guys, we had a killer week last week. I think we went 11-4, 73%. We're looking to get 100% this week. Those are my picks. Those are M.O.N.K's picks. And yeah, only one more thing to do before we get out of here, guys. You know what it is. Most owned pick of the week last week. I don't know who. Did you pick? Yeah, it was me. It was me. It was Josie Ann Nunez. I picked her as my most owned no nonsense pick of the week at 9,500. Thought she was gonna roll Zara Farron, and she almost got beat in the first. She did get the win. Won 2 out of 3 rounds, but scored like 75 points. It was a bad pick. Let's just go to the current most owned, no nonsense pick of the week, the M.O.N.K pick of the week. And at 8,800, we're going with the main event heavyweight that I think is going to win, Serghei Spivak. I think he's going to win this fight over Derrick Lewis, guys. I love the upside of Spivak here. At 8,800, there's a chance he is going to be owned by I'm going to have him at like 60%. I don't even know. His ownership's probably going to be 40 some. I'm going to be well over that. I think he gets it done here. Absolutely love the play on Serghei Spivak. So it might be a bit obvious, but this is my most owned, no nonsense, the M.O.N.K pick of the week, guys. That said, let's get on out of here, man. I don't, this is a road to UFC card. We don't need to take a ton of time breaking these fights down. We have a huge pay-per-view next week. I really am looking forward to, so I can't wait to get into the stats on that one. We'll save some of my energy for next week. Till then, though, hit the like and sub on this channel. You can see me tomorrow on the Kill Shot podcast, my first inaugural DFS Army podcast. We Kyle Marley. I'm very much looking forward to that. 3 p.m. Central Time over on the DFS Army channel. Wednesday, Pub Sports Radio. Me and the boys are going over our DraftKings picks. Friday, me and my other boy, Lou, from Monk and Lou's Happy Hour. We've got Salary Voodoo coming out most likely tomorrow, Wednesday. So tons of content here between me and my boys at the MMA Engine, DFS Army, all that good stuff, guys. We have you covered for UFC Vegas 68. That said, hope all of you enjoy the fight. So enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.